I'm Corbitt Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, October the 9th, brought to you in part by Arvest Bank. More than just a bank, a partner with boots on the ground. They're pursuing cattle customers in Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Kansas. And if you get caught up in a margin call trap like a lot of you have during this recent run-up when you were trying to protect yourself there, but the margin calls got overwhelming, they won't abandon you. They'll stick right with you, keep those margin calls paid, and help you stay current there, guys. Of course, all loans are subject to credit approval. For more information, go to arvest.com/agriculture. Price fixing settlement, that come out on Wednesday there. Not sure if everybody saw it, but Tyson and Cargill agreed to pay $87.5 million for a class action suit. It was the first consumer settlement in beef price fixing litigation, and it's been in the process since 2019. This was from the period of 2014 to 2019. They had a class action suit by consumers against all four big packers, but only Tyson and Cargill agreed to pay $87.5 million for their part. It's 36 million consumers across 26 states that are involved in this class action suit. National and JBS were also involved, but they continue to deny any wrongdoing. Part of this process said that Tyson and Cargill have agreed to cooperate with officials against the other two. Could add up to total damages of $1.9 billion. And this comes just right after Tyson agreed to settle a price fixing case on pork. So just about the time that we're starting to have a little sympathy for these packers, you know, because of the price of the cattle there and everything that's going on, we get reminded of what they're capable of, guys. Don't let up on them. You cattle feeders out there, don't let up on them. They won't let up on you when the shoe's on the other foot. But the markets are just gangbusters this week. The board's been up, up, up. Your cash feeders have been up, up, up. We continue to see new national all-time record highs in several classes of cattle and several weights of cattle. There's good demand for these balling calves, those especially in high quality and if they've had their shots. The fat cattle market has yet to develop. A lot of guys are thinking we'll get some of the ground back we've lost here the last few weeks. The fat cattle auctions are going pretty well, but we've yet to see any significant trade in your direct-to-fed cattle market. But you look at your board for Wednesday, was October live cattle futures were up 75 cents at 233.85. It's just adding to that negative basis if they don't get any more for the cattle this week. December live cattle up 115 at 238.87, and your back months up $1.50 to up 202. October feeder cattle up $4 smooth at 369.50, and it's leaving your cash index levels behind. Even though our cattle are trading higher every day, we can't gain that much on a 7-day moving average like your board can. November feeder cattle up 457 at 368.82, and your back months on feeder cattle contracts up 452 to up 605. I think everybody was a little bit surprised to see their cattle futures this strong this week. Talk about your grains. December new crop corn up 2 1/4 cents a bushel at 422. New crop November beans up 7 1/2 cents a bushel at 1029 1/2. Hard red winter wheat for December up 1 1/4 at 493 1/4 cents a bushel. Your fat cattle trade, like I mentioned just a while ago, there's been no significant trade. I mean, just next to nothing that's happened in your direct trade. in your 4 main feeding areas out there. Just nothing happening at all. Of course, you know, we got a negative basis. Packers don't want to give any more for the cattle. Your feeders don't want to keep taking lower money. Probably not going to agree to steady money this week with things going as high as they are. But they do have some overdone cattle in the northern plains and in the upper Midwest there, and they need to move some cattle. Maybe they will get quite a few cattle moved this week. A couple of fat cattle auctions. Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota sold 1,000 head of slaughter cattle at their cattle auction on Wednesday. The fed cattle market was steady to $1 higher. Conventional fed cattle selling from $228 to $238. Did have some program cattle, did not bring a premium. They were selling from $231 to $236.50. Glacial Lakes Livestock in Watertown, South Dakota had about 500 for their slaughter cattle auction. Market was $1 to $2 lower there. Conventional fats in Watertown, South Dakota selling from $230 to $234, and program cattle there selling from $234 to $236. They did have several big fat fed cows from $172 to $182. Box beef cutout values were mixed. Your choice was up, but not much. It had been up the first 2 days of the week. Did not gain much, just 19 cents at $366.16. Your select cuts were down $3.64 at $345.24. Of course, there's not that much select product out there, guys. Your slaughter through the first 3 days of the week, 335,000 estimated cattle slaughter. They had a good day on Wednesday, 118,000, so we're not seeing it that big on a regular basis, but 335 through the first 3 days. That is 13,000 less than just last week to this point, and 25,000 head less than this point the same week a year ago. I want to tell you about Kemin. That company is compelled by curiosity, looking for new ways to solve problems. Doing it in the cattle business, guys. As we're buying all of these new arrivals during the fall calf run, it's hard to keep your sickness under wraps there. And the sick pen is the only pen that you really want to be empty there. Kemin is supplementing with Clostat, an active microbial that can result in a 28% first treatment respiratory drop and first treatment respiratory morbidity, guys. So that is huge if you could get that Clostat through Kemin. Let's talk about what else is going on. Valley Grande Ranch Feeders there, guys, in Lodgepole, South Dakota. It's Archibald Brothers. They got 1,800 calves of their own they've just put into their lots there and starting to wean them. But they've got a huge modern facility, guys. They've got 3 brothers there. Those Archibald brothers all work and do a good job, and they have a lot of help in a top-notch operation. And I tell you what, they grow 80% of their own feed. They got all their feed right on hand there, all the equipment. They're redundant in their water and in their power. It can take care of anything. Snow removal, if you get that. They've got plenty of windbreaks there and protection for the cattle, and they want your balling calves. So if you got some balling calves, you're not sure what to do, would like to maintain ownership of them, not really set up to wean those calves, send them to them. They'll put weight on them, get them straightened out, do it really affordably right there. Can help you out with that. If you buy some balling calves in the sale barn, not sure where to go with them, send them up there to them. They've got a convenient location that's right between the western ranches and the feedlots out in the Corn Belt. They can take a lot of balling calves. They've got a lot of room there, guys. If you've got thin cows, you'd like to add value and put some weight on those cows, take them to them. They can do that too. For more information, go to archbro.com. That's ARCHBRO.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market. Brought to you from Specialty Risk Insurance. They are working to protect your livelihood, guys. That's Kevin Charleston right there in Carthage, Missouri, right across the highway from Joplin Regional Stockyards. Your real-time index at the conclusion of your Wednesday sales sitting at 365.69 based on an 800-pound cash auction steer. That's a 7-day moving average, and it was up 236 compared to the end of Tuesday's trade. That is a huge gain there. Your steer tracker, your last 25 lots of 5 head or more that go into the index was sitting at 372.37. Tell you what, the market's just really good, guys. Latest CME cash feeder cattle index was right in there amongst your RTI at 365.51. I want to tell you about a sale that's going to be happening here today on Thursday, October the 9th. It's Intermountain Livestock Exchange in La Grande, Oregon. This is one of their biggest specials of the year. It's the Black Calf Special. They've got 2,500 head on offer, and they call it the Black Calf Special. They have been calling it that for 30 years, but they'll take other colors. But they've got some of their premier consignments coming in, guys. They've got weaned calves and calves fresh off the cow there, but 90% of them will have 2 rounds of shots, both fall and spring shots there, guys. It's going to be starting at 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific, and that's 3 o'clock Central, guys, so you got plenty of time. They're on DVAuction.com. You can call in there to the sale beforehand and get approved to bid. They're set up now. They can take the online bids, and you can get some really fancy cattle up there in that part of the country. Let's talk about your big sales on Wednesday. OKC West in El Reno, Oklahoma had 5,700 head for their 2-day sale with calves on Tuesday and feeders on Wednesday. The feeder sale was hot, guys, $4 to $10 higher, with spots $25 higher, especially on those 2-weight cattle. The 7-weight steers and some of the 6-weight heifers there that could go either way, could go back to wheat or could go right on to feed. But a really good sale. Your steer calves $4 to $10 higher, with spots $20 higher on your 5-weight steer calves. I mean, it was really good too. Heifer calves ran evenly steady there. But OKC West was your Superior Steel Sales, home of Superior Standard Livestock Equipment, stick-out sale of the day. You know, you look at this automated market report, and it's just from the Wednesday sale, just from your feeder sale there, guys. You notice the lighter weights were not tested. But check this automated market report out through Cattle Market Central. They had 256 head of 6-weight steers, averaged 668 at 397.89 on the weighted average. 461 head of the 7-weight steers averaged 765 at 375.21, and that's the weight group that was $25 higher. 250 head of the 8-weight steers averaged 847 at 366.02, and 269 head of 9-weight steers averaged 927 at 341.97. Let's look at the heifer market. 397 head of the 5-weight heifers averaged 588 at 395.54. 252 head of 6-weight heifers averaged 641 at 369.68. There were 852 head of 7-weight heifers in El Reno. They averaged 749 with a weighted average price of 350.80. And 205 head of the 8-weight heifers averaged 861 at 321.87. Good sale there at OKC West El Reno Livestock Market in Oklahoma, guys. Give you several individual quotes scattered all around the country. How about Marana Stockyards in Marana, Arizona? We don't think about them too often. They had 70 head of steers, weighed 607 and bring 440. It's a big time quote there where it's really dry, guys. How about Buffalo Livestock Marketing in Buffalo, Wyoming? 91 steer calves weighed 524 at 506. Big time quote. About a Montana barn there. Sydney Livestock in Sydney, Montana. They're a DV auction broadcaster. They had 80 head, 721-pound steers bring $399.75. How about Torrington livestock markets in Torrington, Wyoming? 62 steers weighed 837 at $385. That's 20 bucks above your real-time index, and the index is based on an 800-pound steer, and those weighed 837. Wow, big quote there. How about Stockman's livestock market in Yankton, South Dakota? Big feeder sale on Wednesday, and they sold 112 979-pound steers there in Yankton at $358.50. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday in your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day come out of Bassett livestock auction there in Bassett, Nebraska. Big steers, guys, and a big swath of them. 253 head of 1,009-pound steers bring $355.50, nearly $3,600, guys. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.